Our universe is full of incredible sights and wonders. It's only been in the last 100 years or so that we've started to understand what's actually out there. NASA and other space agencies are always making new discoveries, helping us to better understand some of the cosmic wonders outside of our solar system. There's some though that have said that NASA can't always explain these discoveries, and one of the most recent ones was a strange object that showed up next to our Sun. This alleged object has been detected by NASA for a few days now, with amateur researchers noting that it's been sticking close to our Sun. Online users who've seen the photographs have described it as looking like a large planet. NASA themselves have said that they've detected similar looking things close to our Sun, and that there's actually an explanation for it, noting that although these things look out of the ordinary, or even things like giant ships, the truth is that they're quite a common occurrence, which is one of the reasons why discoveries like this often make the rounds every couple of weeks or so. They've said that the truth behind these images is that they're not planets or ships, but rather that of a coronal mass ejection. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said the following: coronal mass ejections are large expulsions of plasma and magnetic fields from the Sun's corona. They can eject billions of tons of coronal material and carry an embedded magnetic field that is stronger than the background solar wind's interplanetary magnetic field strength. CMEs travel outward from the Sun at speeds ranging from slower than 250 km per second to as fast as near 3,000 km per second. The fastest Earth-directed CMEs can reach our planet in as little as 15 to 18 hours. Slower CMEs can take several days to arrive. NASA said the following: the outer solar atmosphere of the corona is structured by strong magnetic fields. When these fields are closed, often above sunspots, the confined solar atmosphere can suddenly and violently release bubbles of gas and magnetic fields called coronal mass ejections. A CME can contain 1 billion tons of matter that can be accelerated to several million miles per hour in a spectacular explosion. Solar material streams out through the interplanetary medium, impacting any planet or spacecraft in its path. CMEs are sometimes associated with flares, but can occur independently." End quote. Although these events have been documented countless times by NASA and other space agencies, those who believe that there's something else point out that typical CMEs don't match the descriptions of these strange objects, saying that CMEs are usually much more random in appearance and appear to be elongated, whereas these objects look to be circular in shape. The discussion of life outside our planet is always growing, especially since NASA and companies like SpaceX talk about exploring the solar system. Although there's some that believe we've already been contacted and are in talks with advanced life forms, scientists have said this is not the case, and that as of right now we have no proof that there's other advanced life forms out in space. This hasn't stopped them from talking about the topic, however, noting that it's very likely that there's other life forms out in the universe, saying that out of the billions of planets scattered throughout the Milky Way galaxy, one of them is likely to hold some type of life form. Jill Tarter, who used to be the director of the Center for SETI, which stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, said the following about advanced life forms: "Often the aliens of science fiction say more about us than they do about themselves. While Sir Stephen Hawking warned that alien life might try to conquer or colonize Earth, I respectfully disagree. If aliens were able to visit Earth, that would mean that they would have technological capabilities sophisticated enough not to need slaves, food or other planets. If aliens were to come here, it would be simply to explore. Considering the age of the universe, we probably wouldn't be their first extraterrestrial encounter either. We should look at movies like Men in Black 3, Prometheus and Battlefield as great entertainment, and metaphors for our own fears, but we should not consider them harbinger of alien visitation." End quote. Some people shared their views on this and agreed with Jill, saying that Stephen Hawking didn't have the right attitude when talking about advanced life forms. One online user said the following. Firstly, we don't know how advanced these life forms would be. For all we know, they could be above us right now, and we might not even know it. We may not have the correct technology to detect them. There's so many variables that play into discussions like this. In terms of the universe, we are extremely young, and can you imagine what a civilization would look like if it was 100,000 or a million years more advanced than us? Think of what we've achieved in the last 100 years alone. When we think of the universe, we often apply human logic and human capabilities, and for all we know, there could be things out there that are beyond our comprehension. The truth is and always will be that we'll never know how many advanced life forms are out there in space. We're never going to have the tech that will allow us to travel thousands of light years in a short amount of time, at least not anytime soon. So the scientists and researchers saying these things are really guessing based on the limited information that we have available. The only thing I will say is that if a day comes that aliens do make contact with us, we best hope that they're nothing like us, otherwise we would be in serious trouble." End quote. It's fair to say that 2020 has been pretty eventful, and it's just been announced that a mysterious object has made its way close to our planet. What's interesting though is that scientists aren't sure what this object is. The object has been given the name of 2020 SO by astronomers and researchers, and they've said that the object will come within 31,000 miles of our planet. Although this sounds like it won't cause any issue for us, an object that's travelling this close to our planet has to be monitored. The object is said to pass by us today. One of the researchers who has been keeping a close eye on the object said they're not even sure what this is, saying that they're pretty sure it isn't an asteroid, going on to theorise that the object could possibly be a piece of space debris that's made its way towards our planet. Paul Chodo said that 2020 SO might actually be a Centaur rocket booster, and this would have been from one of NASA's failed missions. It's not uncommon for NASA and other space agencies to pick up on these types of objects, with them saying that the majority of them will burn up on re-entry. Other researchers though have said that all the necessary tests need to be carried out in order to know what these objects are, saying that if something is detected that could cause harm to our planet, we're on limited time. After looking through the data, Chodo said that the object has actually come close to Earth several times in the past. He went on to say the following. One of the possible paths for 2020 SO brought this object very close to Earth and the Moon in late September 1966. It was like a eureka moment when a quick check of launch dates for lunar missions showed a match with the Surveyor 2 mission. End quote. This is just one of the many objects that are currently zipping around close to our planet. Another object which astronomers have openly talked about is that of an asteroid which has been given the name of the god of chaos, or Apophis. It's currently making its way towards our planet, and it's just one of the many objects that will come close to Earth within the next few years. Most asteroids pass by us with hundreds of thousands of miles to spare, but this one is thought to come within 19,000 miles of our planet's surface, and this is if it stays on the course it's currently on, something that doesn't always happen. This is extremely close and means that scientists will have to observe the object closely. One of the worries with most of these near-Earth objects is if it does collide with our planet. This asteroid measures in at over 1,000 feet, so something of this size would easily cause a lot of damage to where it made contact. NASA said the following on their website. Asteroid 99942 Apophis is a near-Earth asteroid more than 1,000 feet in size that will pass close to Earth on April 13, 2029. When it was discovered in 2004, the asteroid caused a stir because initial calculations indicated a small possibility it would make impact with Earth in 2029. After searching through some older astronomical images, scientists ruled out the possibility of a 2029 impact. It's now predicted the asteroid will safely pass around 19,800 miles from our planet's surface. While that's a safe distance, it's close enough that the asteroid will come between Earth and our Moon, which is around 238,855 miles, or 384,400 kilometers away. It's also within the distance that some spacecrafts orbit Earth. It's rare for an asteroid of this size to pass so close to Earth, although smaller asteroids in the range of 16 to 33 feet or 5 to 10 meters have been observed passing by at similar distances. Marina Brozovic, a radar scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Science, said the following: "The Apophis close approach in 2029 will be an incredible opportunity for science. We'll observe the asteroid with both optical and radar telescopes. With radar observations, we might be able to see surface details that are only a few meters in size." End quote. NASA continued by saying the following: "During its 2029 flyby, Apophis will become visible to the naked eye in the night sky over the southern hemisphere, and will look like a speck of light moving from east to west over Australia. It will be mid-morning on the US East Coast when Apophis is above Australia. Apophis will then cross above the Indian Ocean, and continuing west it will cross the equator over Africa. At its closest approach to Earth just before 6 p.m, the asteroid will be over the Atlantic Ocean. It will move so fast that it will cross the Atlantic in just an hour." End quote. One thing astronomers and researchers have said is that it is important to conduct further tests. When they're first picked up on, the researchers are on a time limit to try and understand their flight path. Detecting a celestial body early on is essential to understand what its behavior is like. Researchers noted that back in 2018, we saw more than 91 near-miss hits of different asteroids of all sizes passing by our fragile blue planet. The worrying thing is that out of 91 asteroids that passed by us, only 30 of these asteroids were seen coming prior to their passing, and only 2 of those were discovered 1 year ahead of the near-miss event. This means that for more than 89 of the asteroids nearly striking Earth in 2018, only 2 of them could have been prevented with our current technology, showcasing just how threatening these large celestial bodies can be. As of right now, scientists and researchers have said it's important for us to be constantly scanning the skies. Just because we've logged thousands of these celestial objects, it doesn't mean that every one of them is accounted for. Some slip through and this could be dangerous. After all, an asteroid with a length of only a few hundred meters could potentially wipe out an entire city. It's also interesting to note that space agencies are working on ways to break up asteroids if they're on a collision course. It seems like every other day people are seeing mysterious things in our sky. One of the issues we have at the moment is people can't seem to agree on what they are. We are living in strange times though. Going back 30 years ago, rarely would you get officials talking about mysterious things in our sky, but now it seems that the conversation has shifted. More officials are coming forward and questioning what these things are. According to some, UFOs have been witnessed in our sky for thousands of years, with researchers saying that things like old paintings and papyrus detail these reports, with some of them matching similar shaped crafts that are being seen in the modern day. High-up officials, pilots, military personnel, and even astronauts have opened up about their encounters, something that rarely happened a few decades ago. In fact, those that did speak out about these objects were often reprimanded, demoted, or in many cases losing their jobs completely. Some interesting photographs are currently being shared online that allegedly show a mysterious object in the shape of a disc. It's reported that this object came to the ground somewhere in Mexico, with locals saying that black helicopters and police were on the scene immediately. Residents though were able to get in there and take some photographs, with some reporting that officers had a hard time keeping people back. As with most of these photographs, it's important to keep an open mind, but like some of the residents said, if this was nothing, then why were they pushing people away with force? The photographs show what looked like a UFO in the shape of a disc, with others saying that when you zoom in on some of the images it looks like this thing crashed into the ground. Others agreed with this and said that whatever this thing is, it's clearly taken some damage. pointing out that a huge chunk of the craft is missing. Others noted that the craft was giving off a strange humming sound at the time it was recovered, with locals saying the area was heavily guarded. One person said the following: "This is interesting. Could this craft be something like a drone? It's quite small and looks the part. I'm sure that our military doesn't have anything in the shape of this. Also, the size of it is a big problem. If it was bigger, the argument could be made that an engine was inside, and this was part of a military test, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I definitely don't think it's a drone either. Never seen one in the shape of this. It could be the case that someone made this to look like a UFO, but if this was the case, why so many police? And why black helicopters?" End quote. Another person said this: "That dent in the front of the craft is interesting. It definitely doesn't look like this thing is made of weak material." End quote. Some UFO researchers who saw the images backed the idea of this thing being a scout, and said that these are the crafts that the majority of people see. They are small and nearly impossible to photograph. They said that something interesting went down in Mexico. UFO researchers also said that how the government handles UFO sightings throughout the area is much different than the United States, saying that it takes much longer for officials to get there, and this means that people who are close to the area are able to get in and take photographs. As with most of these images, believers said they don't really tell us much, with skeptics pointing out that although the images are interesting and seem to suggest that a UFO hit the ground, all we have is an object that looks to be in the shape of a UFO. We can't gather any more information for them. This isn't the only strange thing that happened in Mexico recently, with some residents saying that they've heard loud noises. Those who have heard it have described them as a loud boom, and say they don't sound like anything they've heard before. One resident close to Morlea said they heard the noise during the early hours of the morning. The woman said it was very loud, but it didn't sound like a typical explosion. She said the event happened at 1:15 AM on the 6th of April, and this was back in 2020. She went on to say that she heard it once more during the early hours of the morning. Other residents close to Mexico City back up these claims, saying that they heard the sounds around midnight. One man said the loud boom was high in the sky, and that whatever caused it was loud. He said that after the initial boom there was another strange noise that followed. He described it as sounding similar to a loud trumpet. It seems though that not many people reported this event. Only a few others came forward and reported the mysterious sound. Although a lot of people didn't hear it or witness it, others said this isn't the first time that an event like this has been reported. Even NASA got involved and said the following: "We could actually hear the typical strains of symphony in the sound of strange storms coming from our planet, and not an alien spaceship." End quote. UFO researchers though said that sometimes when strange objects are seen or picked up on radar, the military will send out jets to go and investigate, and sometimes these jets create loud booms, and this is what people are hearing. One person was not happy with the explanation that this is a natural occurrence, and said the following: "I have seen many theories regarding the mysterious sounds coming from the sky, and they're all very contradicting to one another. Various people would have us believe these sounds are a reoccurring natural phenomena, but if that were true, where is the documentation? Where's the proof this is happening all the time in nature? Not only that, but on other sites and organizations, along with personal statements from citizens, many would have us believe these noises are due to construction work and machinery. If that were true, then the company in control should have made a public statement regarding the noises, saying that it's them that are wreaking havoc around the world. There are no reliable facts or honest information regarding this unusual situation." End quote. So what do you make of these interesting photographs? Do you think they show a UFO, or could this be something from the military? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.